15 years, the record has stood. The longest jump ever, made by Bob Beamon. This man, Carl Lewis, dreams of breaking that record. Can he do it? Dick Schaap, with the drama and the dream of the perfect jump.
Breaking the long jump record. As Dick Schaap tells us, it's a singular record, an almost mystical goal for Carl Lewis and for the man who set the record 15 years ago.
Mexico City, October 18th, 1968. Bob Beamon starts his approach slowly, gathering momentum, his strides stretching out, 19 of them. The last step, long and piston-like. His right foot pounding the takeoff board perfectly, driving himself up, up, up. His mind goes blank. His hearing deserts him. The stadium is silent. He hangs in the air, it seems, forever. When he comes down, his heels strike the sand with such force, he bounds on one hop like an airplane harshly landed right out of the pit. Bob Beamon has jumped 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches, 22 inches beyond the existing world record. Arguably, but conceivably, the most spectacular individual achievement in the history of all sports. Statistically, the equivalent of Roger Bannister bursting through the 4-minute barrier for the mile, not by a fraction of a second, but by more than 15 seconds. 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches. A magic number. A miracle. Good cause for joy and tears. 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches. Carl Lewis believes he has already jumped 29 feet. Probably beyond Bob Beamon's world record. Possibly beyond 30 feet. Lewis believes he performed this magic not in a dream, but in Indianapolis last summer on this jump, a jump that was controversially adjudged a foul, a jump that was never measured officially. Did Lewis jump more than 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches? Will Lewis jump more than 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches? Those are lovely mysteries, and the man who has the best clues to the answers is an Israeli-born physicist named Gideon Ariel, a specialist in biomechanics, an expert in human physical exertion.
We utilized the film that actually was shot at the instance where Bob Beamon, in this case, jumped his best jump, 29 2.5. And we digitized, or we transfer the information from the body segments right to the computer. So every time...
Armed with films and with formulas, and with a computer programmed to perform biomechanical wizardry, Ariel has studied not only Beamon's record jump, but also Lewis's controversial foul jump. The jump on which judges ruled with very little evidence that he inched past the takeoff board. The jump Lewis himself and many experts thought was the longest ever.
How far is this distance? Is that a world record? Some people say that that's probably over 30 feet. If we know this distance, and we know the distance from where he lands to the end of the pit in the good jump, we can calculate what is the distance from the end of the pit back to the foul jump. If I give it an upper limit, it was 28.11, which is the second best jump of all time. And
Ariel has explored all the major track and field records and concludes that Beamon's is the closest to man's potential. Theoretically within 3 or 4 inches of the absolute limit, the point where physical damage is inevitable, the point that Carl Lewis is aiming for.
That's where his injury is very close. I think if he will produce a jump that will go close to 30 feet, he might tear up his ligament, or tear up his bone, or tear up his some tissue.
I hope he's wrong. For one reason, because I feel that an athlete right now, with the right type of technical training and obviously the right technique, can jump well over 30 feet.
Well, sometimes we like to be wrong, but...
If Ariel is wrong, if Lewis is right, Bob Beamon's record could fall any day. Or it could fall in the brightest spotlight next year, 16 years after Beamon's triumph in the Olympic Games. 29 feet, 2 1/2 inches. Bob Beamon produced it. And Carl Lewis can taste it.